Hey guys, so we recently received a lot of inquiries around the price or the stock of Amazon.com, what to do with it, and thought I would take a few minutes to kind of go through this. Now, it's important to understand that there's definitely a revolution going on, or an acceleration in some of the digitalization movements, where literally entire industries, and I've said this now for years, that pretty much every industry is up for disruption, and we're seeing an acceleration of this now due to the virus and the general sort of global environment that we're in. Nevertheless, there seems to be some exceeding exuberance, and particularly in a name like Amazon, and I just want to kind of throw some caution out there. Again, this is nothing against the company from a fundamental perspective. I think there's a lot of prospects of growth, but there's a lot of exuberance from a lot of the proprietary measurements that we do, sentiment readings, and that type of stuff. And I'm going to show it to you in the charts here right now. So let's move on to the charts real quick, and we are going to start off with a very simple monthly chart, meaning each one of these increments here is 1 month. And you can see if you sort of draw a couple of lines here, starting from 2014, you can kind of draw the high points or connect the high points, and you can connect the low points here for the most part. And you can see we're actually exceeding here this range, and every time we've gotten to the upper end of it, which really has only happened once, we ended up mean reverting. If you move on to a bit of a small, and from a momentum perspective, you can see that we're getting quite stretched here in terms of what's likely possible in the near term on the upside as well. Moving on to one time frame smaller, which gets you to the weekly charts, you can see from a momentum perspective, MACD is the rating here for the momentum indicator. Very, very overbought. The stock is currently trading about 50%, or we're going to draw from the top down, about 33% above its 50-week moving average, which is roughly its 200-day moving average. Comparing that to how much it was trading above its 50-week moving average in September of 2018, which was the previous, I think, all-time high above there. Back then, it was trading about 26, 27-ish% above that moving average. Again, right now, just to reiterate that, right now it is about 33%. So that's very, very overextended in that sense as well. And lastly, on the daily time frame, you can see right now, again, using these moving averages, the yellow line is the 50-day moving average in this case. Stock is currently trading about 17-18% above its 50-day moving average. Comparing that to, again, let's say that period back there in 2018, or even this is even in February of this year, back then it was trading about 13% above the 50-day moving average. Again, comparing that to right now, about 17% above about that moving average. Moving on to one time frame smaller, which now we're using the 21-day moving average. That's the yellow line. You can ignore the other one here. And right now, the stock is trading about 11% above its 21-day moving average. That's the yellow line. So again, none of this means that the stock has to completely fall apart, but the odds are very, very high that ultimately the stock will mean revert back to its 21-day moving average. Currently, again, that moving average is trading about 13% lower. So you can kind of do the math of what might be the pullback. Maybe the pullback is only 9 or 10%, while the moving average rises and the stock ultimately does come mean reverting. So anyway, if anything, I wouldn't chase the stock here at the very moment. If you want to buy it, need to buy it for whatever reason you do. Maybe you're an indexer, maybe you are just trying to trend follow, although this is a very steep trend to follow at this point. Just keep in mind that I think at least in my opinion, for me, for what it's worth, very, very overbought. So the reward to risk isn't really very favorable buying the stock up here. As always, if you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up, like, spread the word, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.